Science editor Steve Newman reports on one person already using the brand new system.
What is up, guys? It's Troy at the Full Setup, back with another video for you, and today is a good day for me because I finally managed to get myself an RTX 3000 graphics card. I got the 3060 Ti, which was, I wanted the 3070 ideally because I have got a 240Hz display, but the 3060 Ti was something that I still really wanted as well. I do like to have the 6 series graphics card, and I did finally manage to get one as well, and I got it for cost retail price as well. I didn't have to pay over for it. It would have been nice to have been sent one for a review, but graphics card seems to be something that I can't get. But anyway, this is the Gigabyte Gaming OC 3060 Ti. It's available for just under 400, around £400. Obviously, we know that people are going to be selling them for inflated prices at the moment. We know they're going to be hard to get, but if you did want to have a better chance at getting stuff, one thing I'd definitely recommend to you is if you are on Discord is to go over to the Stock Informer Discord, sign up to all of that, click on all the notifications, and that should hopefully get you the product that you want. I know that Trevor over We Got a Problem Gaming has been getting loads of stuff through there at the moment. He's managed to secure himself lots of good gaming goodies, so I'd definitely go and check that out. But anyway, today we're just going to unbox this graphics card. We're going to unbox it, then I'm going to put it in the system. We're going to look at sort of stock thermals, going to do a little bit of overclocking, noise tests, you know, just sort of out of the box performance. But I'll be coming back with some extended overclocking guides and, as always, lots of gaming benchmarks. But I haven't actually bought a lot of the games that have been coming out this winter because I've been sort of keeping the cash to one side to try and get a graphics card. So I imagine I'm probably going to be coming in January with that big sort of 30-40 game benchmark that I like to do. Because I don't like to rush that video out anymore. It's nice to do it for near launch day to get the views, but I'd rather take the time and make a really good benchmark. But I'll link to that in the description as well. Anyway, I've just been waffling at the beginning of the video. Let's get this graphics card open, and I'll come back at the end of the video, tell you what I think about it so far, because I've been gaming on it for most of last night. Let's have a little look around the box then. So we've got the standard Gigabyte sort of eye logo, GeForce RTX 3060 Ti, RGB Fusion 2.0, WindForce, Overclock edition. Now, like I said, this isn't the Pro version. The Pro version's clocked a little bit higher than this. It also has an 8 and 6 pin rather than this just has a 8 pin, which you'll see in a minute. Nvidia Ampere Arch, which I imagine is architecture, ray tracing, DLSS. Side of the box, 3 fans, 8 gigabytes. There's a nice orange color here. 3060 Ti. Again, 3 fans, 8 gigabyte. Now there is a picture of the graphics card on the back. So as always with like WindForce, when they do the 3 fans, I think 2 go in one direction and 1 goes in an alternative direction, which is just something that they sort of do. They reckon it makes it better for the cooling, but I've never really seen, you know, they've never really said that Gigabyte perform any better than anyone else, really. Against other triple fans I've used. Just some more pictures of it on the back here. There's a little bit of RGB. Nothing too special on this, because I wouldn't say this is a basic model. It's more of a mid-tier 3060 Ti, but then that's the problem, because, you know, obviously when they're all selling at their retail prices, you know, a high-end 3060 Ti, you know, the Aorus Master or the Strix is going to cost you an entry-level 3070. It's very close on the price here. It's, you know, it might be a little bit hard to recommend the 3060 Ti once everything gets to normalizes in price. But then if we can pick models up for 350, then massively. 2080 super specs, just a Gigabyte box. We got manual, quick guide, and here is the graphics card. So I was expecting it to be a little bit bigger. I don't know, the picture made me think maybe it was a bit bigger. I think there's just been some huge graphics cards come out of late, especially was it the ASRock Navi ones. Massive. Oh wow. Well, I like the back plate. So we've got this nice metal back plate here. So this is the reference. I imagine it's going to be sort of a reference board, but using the standard 8-pin power, not Nvidia's weird new 12-pin. And this is a new thing they've gone with, because NVIDIA did it, where we've got, you know, air coming back through the, you know, through the top, okay? And I don't know how I feel about this, because when you think of a graphics card of this style, it's always going to dump hot air back into your case, isn't it? It is going to dump hot air back into it. But I mean, it's just coming up and going straight into the CPU cooler. It's just making it more apparent. Got the 3 fans here. I don't know if they're 90s. I would say they're 80mm fans. For a 3 fan, I mean, it's by no means small. I've got a tape measure. By no means small, but I'm just saying, yeah, 80. Those are 80mm fans. Yeah, you know, it's not a small graphics card by any means, but it's small for a 3 fan one. Now, sadly, the only other graphics card I've got in the PC behind me, so we can talk about the specs of this one. You know, so this model comes in at 1740 megahertz, up from 1665 on the reference version, okay? It's going to boost probably around 2000. We'll have a little look at that in a second. But the Pro version, yes, it's got an extra 6-pin power connector, but it's only 30 megahertz more, okay? Now, we're going to be able to make that back. I will show you how you can literally make that back in Afterburner. And I was thinking about doing a video talking about should you buy the standard version or the overclock version of a graphics card? Because I always think you should buy the standard version. Just something that I think you should do. So now it's got 8 gigabytes of VRAM. We can get some focus here. Now this is another odd one with this card as well. Now it's got 2 HDMI 2.1s, 2 DisplayPort 1.4s. Okay. Now me personally, I would have gone with 3 DisplayPorts, so you can do triple 1080p monitors with FreeSync on rather than the HDMIs. But then that being said, like recently when I tested out the Xbox Series S and I had FreeSync running over HDMI 2.0, no problem. So could definitely see it happening. Now length, it's 282, width 172 that way, and then height 40. So it is a dual slot. So this could go in ITX builds, as long as your ITX builds can take, you know, like a lengthy graphics card. But I do like the look of it. I think I've never been one for, you know, the mounting vertically, but I think this one could look nice vertically. Definitely do. I mean, it's definitely looking like a cheaper model, but then it's got some premium touches on it. Just the combination of the silver and black, the RTX. I just don't like where the power pin is. I like them to be at the end of the card. I don't know, I just think that's what looks nice for a cable droop over. Not as bad as being in the middle like NVIDIA. And I really hate that they've always got a serial sticker on it, and you know, it's sort of void if you take it off, because I want to take it off because it looks stupid. But the back plate looks really nice. How many heat pipes we got going on in here? I don't know if I can see. 3 possibly? Let's have a little look. But there we go. Should we get it in the case? So I've got the graphics card all in the system then. It's probably going to be quite hard to see some of this on screen, but I'll just talk you through exactly what's going on at the moment. But it's all in the system. It looks very nice. The little RGB on it is subtle. I just wish it wasn't a Gigabyte logo and it was some sort of other design. I don't really like a big flashy logo inside my system, even though I complained about the deep cool, what was it, the AS500, the fact that it's got no branding whatsoever on it. But I've been running the Heaven benchmark now for about 10-15 minutes, so just to sort of let the card get to where it needs to be. We're running at auto fan speed. Okay, the GPU temperature is at 64 degrees C. I don't even know what the fan speed's going at. It's saying 70% here, but it's extremely quiet. Let's just turn this on. I don't know if I already mentioned the kids just got home, so we might see some jumps. Let's just... That there, 36. So when I talk, it goes up, but under 40 dB, sort of sat here. And the deep cool fans aren't the quietest either, but I've got them set to quite low. And that's sort of jumping between, up here we've got the clock speed. It's jumping between 1950 and 1935. So if you bump the fan speed up a little bit, you'd probably get a little bit more boost out of it. I've also got the power limiter maxed out as well. 240 Hertz was no issue at all. So I've got 240 Hertz. and I've also got G-Sync enabled as well. This is obviously a FreeSync panel, but yeah, it's a variable refresh rate is enabled. Now, one thing I mentioned earlier in the video was just saying that I don't think you should always pay extra for like the overclock edition, even though this is called an overclock, but an overclock edition version of a card. So the overclock version of this is the Gaming Pro OC. Obviously, it's got a bit more better power delivery on it as well, but sort of around the same card, okay? So this one's 1740, the other one's 1770. So literally all we have to do to get to that is bump 30 on the clock speed, click enter, and there we go. We have the Gaming Pro. Because a lot of people ask me that all the time, like, what's the difference on these graphics cards of the same range? Like, a lot of people ask me on the 1060 and the 2060, and I said literally it's anywhere between 1 and 5 frames per second. It's really close, and you can always edge that out just by bumping up the core clock, because, you know, factory overclock graphics cards, minus your things like your kingpins and stuff like that, are very conservative on what they actually give. So I think we're going to overclock this a little bit further. So I think we're going to go 100 megahertz to the core. So that takes us up to 225. You could probably push it a little bit further. I am going to do an overclocking video on this. 240 there. Don't know if you can see this on screen, but it was sat around 240, but it will drop down once the card heats up. Now, as for memory clock, you should be able to add 1000 to this. I had no issues adding 1000 megahertz to my 2060 with GDDR6. I added even more with the 1650 Super because it was down clocked. You could actually add 1500 megahertz. Hopefully we don't have a crash. Like I said, this is just some very quick numbers that I know that we can dial in, okay? So then that's gone to 8000 megahertz, but we obviously know it's doubled. So that's 16 gigabits per second, 2025 to 40 megahertz on the boost there. And the temperatures are barely jumped up. Do you know what? I think we're going to leave it 5-10 minutes and just see if our temperatures go up at all. Oh, we crashed. No? No, we didn't. Did we? Definitely stuttering a bit there. Did we? No. Stutter. I think we ran into a stutter. But yeah, I'm going to let it run for 10 minutes at those settings after we've just seen that. See where we are with temperatures, see where we are with the sound. So I've actually been running the overclock a bit longer. I've been running for about 45 minutes because I did make a slight change. I did remember that I hadn't, you know, updated Afterburner in a while, so I'm the latest version of Afterburner now. So I do have core voltage. I am able to change the voltage. I've gone to plus 50, which isn't a lot to be putting through. There is a lot of safety stuff built in sort of behind the scenes to make sure you don't put too much voltage in if you don't tweak around with the settings too much. So we're at 1.81 millivolts, all right, so that's fine. Temperature's gone up to 72 degrees, but fans ain't moving, honestly. This system is running silent. I'm even thinking it's quieter than my 2060 dual that I had, and I was really a fan of that. And just another thing as well, I've been sort of getting this system ready to benchmark as well, so I've just gone back to XMP for now on the RAM because I was running at CL14. I hadn't quite finished those timings. So I was just making sure that nothing was going to make it crash. It didn't crash on the last run. It just sort of was getting a bit sticky in places. There was some stutters. So I've gone for the plus 50 core voltage. We're sort of sat around 2000, just going around over 2000 megahertz. I do think I'm going to be able to push it just a little bit further, try and get it fixed at that 2025. Again, if you bump the fan speed up, that might sort of sort it out a bit, maybe give us a little bit more. Oh, stop it. We don't want, oh, I want a slider. I wonder if we just bump that fan speed up, and you're going to hear that a lot more behind me. Memory is still at 1000 megahertz. Again, you might be able to push a little bit further than this. I reckon, like I said, recommend 750, but I just bumped the core clock down to 90. As soon as I did that from 100, it just sort of stopped doing these little sticks and stutters, okay? Everything just sort of got a little bit better. But like I said, I'm going to do a full overclocking guide video once I've been really playing this for longer. But here's just some good settings for you to play around with, for you to test with, and probably a good baseline for you with this graphics card here. Temperature's good. Where are we at now? And now it's becoming a bit more audible. Just over that 40 dB mark, but it's keeping us, no, that is keeping us more at that 2025. I don't think you'll push this card much more than 2050. I think that's where you're going to need that extra power limit from the next model up. Like the only one I'm seeing that's pushing past 2100 at the moment is the Strix model. As we know, Strix generally have quite high-end binned GPUs in them. And then it did a little bump up to 2045 there as well. So I think a lot of it's just going to be depending what you want. Do you want that super quiet GPU? Do you want to push it a little bit? So there we go then. That was just a quick overview of the RTX 3060 Ti, specifically the Gigabyte Gaming OC card. And like I said, you know, I was using it for most of last night. Ironically, actually, I didn't play a lot of games at this desk. I actually was playing Cyberpunk, but I was using Moonlight to stream it to my Chromebook. So I streamed that up to my Chromebook and was playing Cyberpunk last night. 1080p, mostly maxed out settings, medium ray tracing, and it was the first game I've actually played with ray tracing where I was like, I would rather have ray tracing on and have the performance here, okay? Definitely some bugs. There was a couple of times I had to come out of Cyberpunk. That's nothing to do with the 3060 Ti. But yeah, it was a really enjoyable experience and I can't wait to game on it more this weekend. It's actually a bit of a struggle for me at the moment because I've got Cyberpunk, Horizon, what's the other one? Watch Dogs Legion and Control all to play through. So over the next month or so to get some good areas for benchmarking and stuff. So yeah, I need to put some hours in on the games, and so that definitely helps me out, being able to just stream it to the laptop in bed. And also as well, if you were thinking about getting a Chromebook at the moment, you can actually get 3 months worth of GeForce Now. And then I've got 12 months worth of GeForce Now with the graphics card as well. So I've got that for 15 months. So I'll probably be taking it to work so I can play Cyberpunk at work. But yeah, the card, doing some tweaking and some overclocking there. I think my system needed a few little bits changing to it. I did sort of push the overclocks a bit more after I'd finished playing Cyberpunk. So like I said in a video, it did need me to update MSI Afterburner to the latest version because I hadn't updated it in a while. It was my RAM timings that were causing the issue, so I'm going to get back to the RAM timings over the next few days. I've got a 3600 megahertz B-die kit, and I haven't pushed it to CL14 in a while. So, and it's the motherboard as well. That's the MSI B550 Tomahawk, which I got a few months ago, and I still haven't even got around to like having a good play in the BIOS on that as well. So I'm just going for XMP for now, and as soon as I've done that, it allowed me to push the card a little bit further. So I was running an overclock. What did I manage to push it to? So plus 50 voltage, 110 megahertz on the core, 1000 megahertz on the memory. I left it running all night and it was still running this morning, and the graphics card was still sort of sat around that 65-70 degrees as well. So I think if you were going to tweak this card, start at about 70-80 megahertz and then maybe work up to 110-120, bump the voltage a little bit, but just make sure your rest of your system is in check, okay? I haven't actually done a lot of gaming benchmark videos in a while, so my PC was in a bit of a sorry state. Now that it's sorted out, it's working all good. But yeah, nice and cool, nice and quiet graphics card. There is some coil whine when you turn the fans all the way up. That's to be expected. Like I said, it's small for a triple fan config. Okay, I can't see this performing massively better than a dual fan setup with 2 big tasty fans on it. Do you know what I mean? Like when you've got the wider cards that sometimes won't fit in a narrower case. Yeah, I wouldn't see it doing massively better than that, but again, 60-70 degrees, and the fact is the fans, you can barely hear them when they're moving at that thing. So coil whine if you want to crank it all the way up. One thing I found on the overclock, when I pushed it to 120 megahertz, I bumped the fan all the way up, and that almost got me at 2100 megahertz there. I was at like 275, 280, but that's with the fans cranked because you're keeping the GPU a bit cooler. So yeah, it depends what you want. I've always said though, if you've got a bloody headset, you just stick your headset on and you're gaming and stuff and you haven't got anyone around you, I normally crank my fans up to close to 100% anyway, because I want to just maintain a stable clock. But we're all different. All different on how we game and stuff. So yeah, it will be used a lot on the channel, as you always know. I like to go a bit overkill with all my extra videos and benchmarking and stuff. And like I said, there'll be an overclocking video. Probably mentioned that loads of times. It's a link in the description below. But yeah, just after my initial sort of 24 hours with it, it's definitely a card I can recommend. Only time will tell. I should be keeping this graphics card for a while, so maybe it's 6 months or a year down the line. Ask me how I'm getting on with it. Be more than happy to get back to you. You can ask me that on any videos. Make sure you come over to the Discord, make sure you subscribe, and I'll be back with some more videos very soon.